Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to All About Healing, and I'm your host, Emily Francis. And again, we have the fabulous producer, Jay, on with us, who I am so grateful for to have with me on the shows. So we're on to Emily's Energy Corner, and today was a cool little situation, and I'll tell you why. It's because I had a different author scheduled that had already rescheduled and was supposed to be on the show. And yesterday, something came up, and that's just life. And I got a new opportunity to speak to somebody that I've never met before, Lumari, and the publicist offered her and a couple other people, and I chose Lumari. I thought she would be a great guest, and I love when the universe sort of switches out things to say, you know what, I need you to meet this person because I think you guys may be more in line and you might really enjoy this. And I did. I thought she had a great show. I thought she has a lot of information. I could have her on for several shows and several different topics, which I always love. And she just wrote a book called Shopping for a Man. And it's really a spiritual principle about you're going shopping. That it's a book made for women, but men have read it and just substituted the opposite words and found it very empowering because it's putting the power back into your own hands. And you know, it's interesting. I had a lot of times with Emily's Energy Corner, I switch, so I don't usually have thoughts of what I'm going to talk about because when I get on the show, they give me different ideas, and then I go with that. But lately, I've been having the same reoccurring thought, and it kind of goes with this whole thing too. And that is that everything begins and ends with you. And I don't mean it like there's no spiritual component, because there's a huge spiritual component. But this is with regard to your healing. This is regard to shopping for your mate. This is with regard to what you accept and don't accept into your life, the level of which you live from. And everything that you want, everything that you're willing to go after to find. But it all begins and ends with you. So you have to be a fully active participant in anything that it is that you're trying to attain. And I know that's a really basic concept, but I think a lot of us, especially at different times of our life, tend to shelf that idea a little bit and kind of like, things happen to me. They don't happen to you. They happen with you. You are a participant. Even not participating is still participating. Choosing not to do something or not to make a decision is still a decision. And I think that that's a really important message. So that tends to be what I want to talk about today. And that is with your healing and also with potentially a mate, is that you have to be an active participant. And, you know, I'm writing my book right now. So I'm writing a lot of concepts that are very poignant to me, especially when it comes to healing, to the way that we approach our healing, the way that we approach our life. Because as you guys know, I dealt with anxiety for a really long time, which just, you know, it becomes like a conversation of like, this used to be me. It's always going to be me. There's always going to be a part of me that has to stay ahead on the anxiety. I just know how to live with it. And it isn't as big anymore. It's not as all-consuming and controlling as it used to be. But there were years in there where I literally gave up my ability to exercise control and to exercise proper decision-making because I was doing that thing of no decision is a decision. Not being involved is still being involved. Stepping out and just letting things happen around me and sort of to me. But when things happen to you, you become a victim. But understanding that things generally happen with you. Not all the time. There is absolutely situations that happen that are beyond your control and you really were a victim. And I am not minimizing that. Because I think that a lot of times we get into this spiritual place and decide that you had a part of everything. And, you know, it might be on a soul contract level, but in general, you might not have had anything to do with something very terrible happening to you or near you or around you or to someone that you love. Because especially, you know, I think the world is chaotic right now. But if you listen to anybody from any time, any different decade, they still said the same thing, that the world is really crazy right now. Things are really out of control. There's a lot of violence happening. There's a lot of prejudice happening. This isn't new. It's just that a lot of things are coming to our consciousness, especially because we have access to the world in a way that we didn't ever have before. So we're seeing the volume of violence and racism and prejudice and hate, and it is in full volume definition everywhere we look. It's in our video games, but it's on our news feeds. It's on our cell phones. It's on our computer. It is everywhere. And the world is chaotic. However, it's always been that way. So the parts that you play, that you are actively a role and a participant in, it is time to start taking advantage of that and responsibility for that. That you have to be an active participant in anything that you want to make come true. You know, if I want to live, it's as simple as this. The people that win the lottery bought the ticket. And I get it, that people that win the lottery is like 1 in a million chances or 2 million, I don't even know. But I watch my Lottery Dream House every Friday, and now I really want to be a person on that show. So I've been buying lottery tickets because I'm seeing more people in real life that have won the lottery. But even just to win the lottery, which would be like the coolest thing ever, right? You still have to go and buy the ticket. So there used to be like an old proverb where there was a man that kept asking God to win the lottery. I want to win the lottery. I want to win the lottery. Why won't you let me win the lottery? And God answers back and says, my son, you have to buy a ticket. You know, nobody's going to show up at your door. And it's not about the lottery, of course, but it's the same idea. So somebody that did win something, Publishers Clearinghouse, if you want Ed McMahon or whoever took it over to show up at your front door, remember that used to take all these stamps and you'd have to match up all these things and do all this work to try to get him to show up at your door? And I did that stuff. I was like so faithful to those sorts of things. But it's the same thing. I'm faithful to my book. I show up for it every day. I'm writing. It's due in June. I want to be way ahead of the game. I want that thing to be so super clean, squeaky cleaned, edited, ready to go by the time that it's ready to turn in. And I am working. And I show up for it every day, even if it's 5 minutes that day, or if I actually get a whole day to write. But whatever it is that you want in your life, for your healing, for your love, for your job, for anything. Okay, if you want a different kind of job and you're not actually qualified for whatever job it is that you want to do, then it's your responsibility to go back to school and learn those skills. And it's always a possibility to do that. You're going to go into debt potentially, but you can take out those loans. There is always a way to get what it is that you want to get done. And I think that you have sort of a half and half group on that. You have people that really understand that and they're going to make it happen. And then you have the other people that believe that only the other people get to make that happen. So there's a participation message today from Emily's Energy Corner. That is that you have to be a fully active participant in your life in every subject. But you also have to know what it is that you're even trying to do. So even Lumari talked about making a shopping list for what you're looking for. That holds true for every part of your life. So if you need to make a shopping list for the job that you want, the work that you want, the way that you want to spend your time, your day, your efforts, your health, your healing, make that list and then do everything that you can to stick to it. But don't beat yourself up when you fall down, okay? Not everybody has to be perfect all the time. So that's today's Emily's Energy Corner. You've got to be a fully active participant. And I hope that you guys have a great week. We'll see you back here next Wednesday. Shoot me an email, Emily A. Francis, A like Apple, @gmail.com, or go to my website, EmilyAFrancisBooks.com, EmilyAFrancisBooks.com, FRANCIS. I'll see you guys back here next Wednesday. Have a great week.